Hello everyone, my name is David and today I'm going to record this video named The Real Reason Why You Have Allergies. Let's get started. An allergy is like finding a spider in your bedroom and exploding a nuclear bomb. Sure, the spider is not upset and dead, but so are your neighbors and dog. You can be allergic to incredibly diverse and weird amounts of stuff: pollen, dust, insect things, animal hair, any kind of food, latex, even your own sweat. One of the wildest thing about allergies is how fast they are, breaking suddenly and violently. And you can develop new allergies the moment you're eating the shellfish you ate thousands of times before. The next moment you're waking up in an ambulance. A shrimp can kill you. How bizarre. But what are allergies? Well, do our bodies flip the table on harmless stuff? There's a wild, interesting idea we want to share with you. Humans might have created allergies by accident, by getting rid of worms. This is very upsetting and interesting. For your ancestor, being infected by worms is a reality of life. We won't get into the disgusting details. But in a world where drinking water and our poo were very close bodies, but some species of worm found there's just the perfect circle of life. They enter themselves with the water and make themselves home, sometimes for decades, then release eggs or larvae with your poo, which used to go back to water we drank. Until recently, in evolutionary term, our ancestor has to deal with a frequent or permanent worm infection because this is all kind of unpleasant worm effect. Our immune cells has to find a weapon to get rid of them. But how do you do that? From the perspective of self, worms are size-scale kaiju reaching behind the horizon. Worse, instead of skin, the parasitic worms have elastic protective barriers that withstand even stomach acid. You need to really pack some punch to cause damage, and it takes an army to kill a worm. We're simplifying, but basically when a worm enters your body for the first time, intelligent cells notice their presence, move into their lymph nodes, and activate antibodies factors called B cells. We explain them in detail in this video. B cells are told that they need to fight parasites and start producing a special class of weapon, IgE antibodies, tiny protein crabs with two pinches that connect worm like magnet to metal. IgE flood your entire body and basically begin to arming a nuclear bomb. An army really scary cells called mast cells. Mast cells are huge blood fellows that filled to blink with histone and other nasty chemicals. They pick up the IgE around them and cover themselves with them. Like an angry hedgehog grenade without safety pins. They just lie and wait angry. So now you have millions of bombs in your gut, skins, or lungs. Until the day the mast cells meet a worm, trying to enter your body. There's not much time to get rid of them, so things escalate rapidly. The mast cells, with their IgE spikes, grab onto the worm particles and kind of explode. They release all the dangerous chemicals all at once. And now things happen in succession. First, some of that mast cell chemical wound the worm, ripping wounds into them and make them really unhappy. The emergency chemical histone causes damage and rapid inflammation, ordering your blood vessels to flood the battlefield with water to flush the worm out. They also order the scales to make muscles to overdrive and cover the worm in sticky slime. Other chemicals like air raid scream loudly throughout your body. For anti-parasite soldier, eosinophils. For thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, the alarm leaves your blood vessels where the mast cells cause inflammation. Not only do they make the inflammation worse, they carry extreme toxic chemicals that they vomit at the worm, ripping holes into the its defenses layer and causing horrible injuries. Sometimes this will straight up kill the parasite. The last anti-worm coordination cells arrive, the basophil. This makes sure that the immune system doesn't slow down, but keeps attacking with violence. It keeps the inflammation going and alerts more and more attack cells to the site of battle. Zooming out, you see that the chemical from your anti-parasite forces make your smooth muscle contract rapidly and pushing everything that's inside outside. In your intense, combined with all the water, you notice this as diarrhea, as your body tries to expel all the stressed parasite. In your respiratory tract, loads of mucus and water float out, trying to take a worm with them. If this happens under your skin, your tissues turn hot, red, and itchy as your immune system is trying to commit a murder. This takes a fierce army to kill a worm, and your anti-parasite forces has a license to act rapidly with intense violence. Okay, this is nice and all, but what does this do with the killer shrimp? What is an allergy? Parasitic worms don't live to be getting ripped by millions of bombs, and all living things do. They adapt to deadly attacks on them. In a nutshell, worms release this plethora of chemicals that manipulate your immune system. They make it weaker and much less angry, like an immune system weed, which is very bad for your survival because you have to fight off all sorts of intruders every day. Our ancestors were basically unable to prevent the regular worm infection, so as the worm attacked to us, our body had to adapt to them to balance out any weakening worm chemicals. One adaptation might have been make our immune system more aggressive, so it could defend all the invaders. And then a hot second ago, an evolutionary turn, everything changed. We suddenly invented soap, hygiene, but most importantly, the separation of poop and drinking water. This destroyed the life cycles of parasitic worms. The ones that remained were eradicated by modern vaccine medicine. Worms still infect up to 2 billion people, mostly undeveloped rural regions where slums and unsanitary conditions and dirty water. The people who escape these conditions now face an interesting problem. The immune system, without a major army, has kept it out for millions of years. It could be very well that our immune system is still operating, assume that the worm is making it weaker, and because of that, it has to be over-aggressive to that. IgE mast cells, basophils, and eosinophils have other jobs. Major reason for their existence has now gone away, but they kind of act as this worm is still around. Only now they attack other dangerous foes like shrimps. This is exactly what happens when you have an allergic reaction to a shrimp. Your immune system picks up shrimp proteins and produces IgE antibodies against shrimps. The antibodies turns into them arm mast cells, turning them into bombs. So you have millions of bombs in your skin, your lungs, and your gut, a license to use violence, and when provoked a little bit, until one day you eat another shrimp. Your anti-parasite forces flip on a switch. There's no kaiju to attack. Now, this is what you experience when you have an allergic reaction. Extremely powerful weapons now target your own body. Under your skin, your blood vessels suddenly turn leaky. Fluid streams into your tissue. Your skin swells up and turns red, often and itchy. You immediately feel hot and unwell. Your digestive system, the mast cells called nausea, cramps, and sharp pain. As water floods into your intestines, triggers intense diarrhea and vomiting. Your respiratory tract making the breathing harder, way more dangerously. Histamine and other chemicals cause smooth muscles, your lungs to tense up. In the best case, get a stuffy nose. In the worst